Oh, there's a play button up here to push.
Oh, no.
Won't you listen to reason? Will you open your eyes? It's a wonder what you'll find with an open mind. You may be surprised. Yeah, gotta get away from this illusion for the sake of the world. This delusion has gotta go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Atheist Experience. We are live Sunday, September 5th, 2010, and we're glad you all joined us on this award-winning television program live from
Yeah.
Austin, Texas. I'll get back to the award-winning thing in just a moment. As I mentioned, this is a live public access TV show, and it's sponsored by the Atheist Community of Austin, a nonprofit educational organization promoting positive atheism and the separation of church and state. The ACA has weekly meetings every Sunday at Romeo's on Barton Springs Road, beginning around 11:30, except for the first Sunday of the month when we host our lecture series at the Austin History Center. Except there's a slight change this month, in that today was the first Sunday, and we did not have the lecture. The lecture will be next Sunday. September 12th, Dr. James D. will be down to talk about the second wave of secular humanism, how scholarship challenges religion, or undermines religion, actually. The lecture started around 12:15. The doors open at noon. The Austin History Center, located at the corner of 9th and Guadalupe. Any atheist or atheist-friendly person is welcome to come to that event or any of our other events. You don't have to be a member to attend. And speaking of the other events, they include an atheist happy hour every Thursday at the Dog and Duck Pub, beginning around 7 o'clock or so. And after this program's over, we're on the air till 6 o'clock. We'll be at Threadgill's at 301 West Riverside Drive for dinner and drinks or chatting or whatever. So we're on from 4:30 to 6 p.m. We'll be down at Threadgill's around 6:30 or so, and you're welcome to join us down there. For more information about the Atheist Community of Austin, you can visit the ACA website, www.atheist-community.org, and you'll find a frequently asked questions page as well as a calendar showing all the events that are coming up, regular and special events. And if you don't get through on the telephone today, or if you don't want to get through, you can email tv@atheist-community.org. That goes to myself, the co-host, some of the people behind the scenes. We cannot possibly answer all the email we get, but we do make an attempt to answer quite a bit of them. And we do try to read all of them, as long as you make sure you put AETV or NPR for Nonprofits Radio in the subject line. It should get through most of our spam filters, and we'll do what we can to get feedback. I'm so far behind on email again. It's just been pouring in like crazy, and there's a lot of stuff going on. I have a lot of announcements. I'm going to go ahead and pretend to put up the pause bars for the people who skip the local announcements, because not all of the following announcements are local. I've already mentioned the lecture next Sunday, September 12th. That's here in Austin. September 16th, also in Austin, Americans United is going to be the event that I talked about before, where they're going to discuss how believers and non-believers can communicate more effectively toward common goals. That's been moved up to September 16th. It's at 6:30 p.m. at the Daniel Rees Library. September 25th is the ACA's annual bat cruise. We get a boat, go out on the lake, and watch the bats go out and feed. Austin has the largest metropolitan bat population on the planet. That begins at 6 p.m., but prior to that, at the UU Church here in town, I'll be giving a lecture on the superiority of secular morality. That starts at, I believe, 3 o'clock, and then after the bat cruise, there are some of us who are going to be going to Esther's Follies on 6th Street. It's a separate non-ACA event, but we're pretty much going to go down there in droves anyway. So you can get more information about that at the website there. There's a calendar up there of events. As a reminder, October 8th through 10th is the Texas Free Thought Convention. You can go to texasfreethoughtconvention.com for more information. That's going to be held up in the Dallas area. And November 16th, I'll be at UMBC, that's the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, for a debate on the source of human morality. We're finalizing the details now, and I'll get more information as it becomes available, but that's basically like 5 minutes from the Baltimore-Washington International Airport. So if you're in DC or the Baltimore area, we'll get the information. You can come down and join us for that. And on the 18th, I'll be at UT, but that's a private thing anyway, so. That's all the announcements. No, it's not.
No.
No, it's not. There are 2 extra announcements, and these are kind of special. First, we won. When I said award-winning, I wasn't kidding. Every year, the Austin Chronicle does a Best of Austin. Oh, look, it's green, so the background shows through. Does a Best of Austin issue where readers and critics get to vote on different things. We won the Readers Award for Best Public Access TV Show in Austin, thanks in part to all of you around the world who decided to email in as soon as we posted the contest on Facebook and the blog. For more information about the blog, you can go to atheistexperience.blogspot.com, and a lot of us are posting over there in addition to our Facebook pages and whatever else. And by the way, I've hit the limit on Facebook. So there's now the regular page. Facebook limits you to like 5,000 friends or whatever.
Yeah.
And I way over. And so there's just a default, I guess, kind of fan page or whatever. And I'm using that more. I'm just posting things there instead of the default page because it has no limit. So the last thing, and this one's actually legitimately important and significant, on Tuesday, the Atheist Community of Austin will be mailing out its 2010 Voters Guide candidate questionnaire to 455 candidates in the state of Texas for both national and state positions. It consists of 24 statements that they just rate whether they strongly agree, uncertain, disagree, or strongly disagree. It's very similar to the one we did last year, although we did make some edits based on feedback. If you live in Texas and you have whether you have a favorite candidate or not, contact candidates that are running for offices in your area and remind them that they should be receiving this and you'd like for them to fill it out and return it. It's important that the secular community's views and positions are represented by all elected officials. This is, after all, a secular nation, despite groans and posturing to the contrary. And we would like to get as much feedback from candidates as we can. There's no assessment or filtering afterwards. It is posted on the website, warts and all, with whatever answers individual candidates provided. And the purpose is to give all voters, secular or not, a list of statements that they can then evaluate to determine whether or not candidates are suitable for them. So we encourage everybody to make sure they contact their potential elected representatives and officials and remind them that this is coming, and it'll be posted on the ACA website just as soon as we get our results back. And that is all the announcements.
Okay.
I got
Great.
bars. Jen's with. I never said who the heck we were. I'm Matt Dillahunty, and this is Jen Peoples.
Yep. It came up.
Yeah. I just got so distracted.
I know.
don't
It's
know.
okay.
So what is it that we're actually going to talk about today?
Well, we, from time to time, get email from people asking, hey, religion is so pervasive. Do you think it had some kind of evolutionary explanation? What's the purpose of religion? And as a sort of an extension of that, do you think it's actually necessary for some people? Do you think people need religion in their lives for whatever reason? So I wanted to take a few minutes and address that topic briefly. And so to get started, I want to say that we need to distinguish between religion and belief in a God, because they're slightly different. There's several definitions of religion even. And the definition that I'm using today for this purpose is the rituals associated with someone's observance of their faith. So it's not the belief itself, it's the rituals that they use to observe that, and I guess some of the things that attach to those. So in talking a little bit about what religion did for human societies earlier in our history, it's important to talk a little bit about what happened in hunter-gatherer societies versus what happened to agricultural societies, because the rise of specific religious rituals, as far as we know, correlates to the rise of agricultural societies. So in hunter-gatherer societies, we typically looked at people in small groups, say 50 to 150 people, roughly. And in groups that small, it's pretty easy to keep track of everybody. You generally either know people or you're related to them, and everybody's reputation is known. And that's kind of an important thing, because it turns out that reputational concerns dominate people's behavior in a religious environment. So also in hunter-gatherer societies, there's really no personal or private property, and there's just a few personal possessions. So there's not a lot of property that you can leave to your descendants. So there's no concerns with inheritance issues. And punishment for antisocial behavior is pretty simple. You got kicked out of the group. And we actually see this in modern-day hunter-gatherer societies that have not been in some way contaminated by modern societies. So the people that are actually remote and still live pretty much as immediate return hunter-gatherers, you still see this sort of behavior. Now, we contrast that with agricultural societies, and in agricultural societies you had much larger groups, and so it became impossible to keep track of everybody personally. You had to have some other system of doing this. And you also needed a method of identifying group members. And this is important because now you've got personal property, you've got something you can transmit to your descendants, and it's important that people from outside the group don't come in and get your stuff. Also, with more complex groups, you need a more formal way of transmitting the rules. And of course, the priesthood sort of filled in this gap of having a formal way of transmitting the rules. And so, now that we have some idea of the difference between the two groups, the hunter-gatherer people and the agricultural societies, you can move on to a discussion about how did religious rituals come into play? What did they actually do for these agricultural societies? Well, one of the obvious things is that it serves as a means of group identification. You can identify the individuals who belong to this certain group, because if they are following these rules, then you know, and it may be certain rules about dress, and it might be certain appearance, like married men are required to wear a beard, or you're required to cut your hair in a certain way. There's other more costly signs of membership, like circumcision, for example. And it also, some of these rituals kind of harken back to this ancestor worship that was probably pretty common in hunter-gatherer societies even. But we see this in, for example, invoking a heavenly father. Clearly there's an allusion to ancestor worship there. And some of these rituals also promote group solidarity. So if everybody participates in some kind of religious festival or something like that, and you know, you've got a whole group of people working toward some common goal, even if it's worshiping an ancestor, and so it promotes this sort of group solidarity. Another important thing that these early religious rituals did was that it minimized cheating. Okay, and this is very important because some of these rituals are very costly. I mentioned circumcision before, but also if you look through the Old Testament, there's, you know, rule after rule about sacrificing livestock. There's specific rules about you've got to kill, you know, a cow and a ram, and one is for the sin offering and the other's for the burnt offering. But the bottom line is you're going to take these very costly animals and you're going to sacrifice them, and nobody's going to derive any nutritional benefit from them. But providing this sacrifice is sort of an outward indication that, yep, I'm invested in this group, and I'm so invested that I'm even going to risk my livelihood to promote the group's beliefs. Now, the other thing that happens is that this belief in this omniscient deity who's watching you even when other people can't minimizes, it inhibits antisocial behavior. So that's an important method of social control here. You've got people who, you know, God's watching you all the time. And there's even, I was looking at a Christian school, private school, and one of the things in their handbook to the students was consider Jesus to be participating in any school activity. So they've got